Funnily enough, I had an interview with Liam from BBC before the season when we do the media days, and I remember him saying, "Write in your notes what do you want to achieve this season?" And undefeated was one of my things.
It is an absolute thrill to have one of the most iconic women's footballers of all time on the show. She's a leader on and off the field for the Lionesses, whom she led to Euros greatness in 2022, and Chelsea Football Club, where she is the longest continually playing member of the roster. She's been the team captain since 2023 and has helped this club win 17 trophies. She herself has won more WSL games than any other player ever. Please welcome the singular Millie Bright. Millie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much. What an introduction, by the way.
I
That was
know.
lovely.
I'm seriously so honored and excited to have you on. You and Chelsea just completed an undefeated WSL season, and you're getting ready for the FA Cup, where a victory would give Chelsea the domestic treble. And yet you are never too busy for TikTok. We're almost the same age too, so I'm like really impressed because I'm terrified of TikTok, but you're up on the trends, some trends that I've never even heard of. You work in your dogs all the time, and I'm just wondering, with such a serious and pressure-filled like day-to-day job, what is it about TikTok and social media that just lets you kind of let loose?
Honestly, I started doing TikTok. It was in lockdown actually. That's when I started like really getting hooked on it. So I think ever since then, it's just been a place where I like escape and I just feel like Millie the person rather than Millie the footballer. And it's just so nice. Like, I love doing the trends. I love just sitting, scrolling, seeing what people are up to. I've actually learned quite a lot of TikTok, like cleaning hacks and stuff like that, and gardening tips. And it's so useful. People think it's just like silly stuff, but you actually learn a lot. I'll vouch for it.
I get like pottery ideas, cooking ideas.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, the
well, I'm
cooking
not
ones are good.
I get them from Reels, which like everybody makes fun of me because it's like such a millennial thing to like wait the extra 3 months until the good TikToks make their way onto Instagram. But it's really like such a great and like creative outlet.
No, it is, and I love it. I love just letting my hair down. Like anyone that knows me knows I'm like a silly, like no matter how old, even when I'm like 50 odd, I'm still going to be doing TikToks, no doubt, and like just being silly me. Like you'll hold me to that as well. You watch when I'm 50 odd, you'll be like, "Where's your TikToks?" But no, I love it. It's just a place to relax and enjoy, and like you said, football's so chaotic and life can be very stressful and full on, and that's like my little happy place where I just completely switch off. And a lot of the times people think that the trends actually relate to me, and they're not. I just love doing them. They have no meaning to me whatsoever. I just like doing them.
Well, I am so happy that you found that. I think that's so wonderful and important to have something outside of football that lets you feel like yourself. We
Yeah.
do have to get into the football a little bit, though. In your time with Chelsea, the club has won 8 Women's Super League titles, 5 FA Cups, and 3 League Cups. And you've talked about, and we know about how few resources the team actually had when you first arrived at the club. Despite those lack of resources all those years ago, you all did have Emma Hayes. How did Emma, as a head coach for so long, take this team from being under resourced and undervalued to being so undeniable and winning so many trophies?
I think the biggest thing looking back, and actually something that I'm really proud of and happy is that we didn't have everything, and it just goes to show that you don't always need it. So I think it did keep us really humble and really grounded, and that's something that I really appreciate because I like to be like that in life, off the pitch. So we had that at Chelsea, like, and Emma proved that is you don't need all the glitz and the glam and the fancy stuff, like just through sheer hard work, determination, a team working as a team, and everyone playing their part and doing their roles that we could be successful. And I think that's one of my proudest achievements, to be honest, is not having everything and still succeeding. I think it's a strong message that it sends to the next generation as well, is you don't always need everything in life to succeed, no matter what area of work you work in. You can, as long as you've got the teamwork, the right mentality, the good attitude, good values, that's what we based ourselves off. And I genuinely think that's why we've been so successful for so many years. And of course, we're always pushing the standards and the boundaries. And yes, we always want, better facilities, better everything. That's just the women's game, you know that. But I think it was an important message that we didn't have it all and we still won it all. So it was, I think it's good to be like that sometimes. Keeps you grounded.
Yeah, I agree that that really resonates with me because I think earlier on in my career, I was on teams with less resources as well. And it kind of creates this like underdog mentality. Like we don't have, like
Yeah,
you put it, all the glitz and glamour, but we're going to scrap and fight. And then when you do kind of get appreciated and valued for
yeah,
more, you really are grateful for it and you really use it to for everything that it's worth and use it to your advantage. I want to get into this season. For the first time in a long time, Chelsea started off with a little uncertainty. Emma Hayes was making the move to the States. So for the first time since you joined the team, Chelsea was coming into the season with a new coach, Sonia Bompastor. I know that you're close with your coaches. You're a leader on this team. So this was a transition for everybody, but especially you. And I imagine that you had to really step up and provide some consistency and leadership. How did you help the team adjust to a transition like that?
Yeah, it was a big change for everyone, like you said, but honestly, looking back, it's been the smoothest transition. I think it's been the smoothest kind of period where so much changed so quickly, and everyone just adapted. Everyone, almost like came to life again, and it's a clean slate, clean opportunities, really competitive. I think Sonia came in and laid out her expectations very early on, and that was something that I absolutely loved, because it was like, okay, bang, these are the aims, this is what we want, this is what I expect, and it was super clear. I think that allowed everyone just to get on with it, but also for me it was just allowing the girls to know that change, it doesn't always have to be bad, and it doesn't always have to be like disruptive. Like, you can have change and still continue something that was once there. And like I said, it goes back to the values, the culture, the environment, what being at Chelsea represents. And staff or player, when you're at this club, you're a winner, and Sonia's a winner. She's done it all. So for her to just step right in, and I've said, I tell them all the time, it feels like they've been here for so long, which is such a good thing, because it shows that we've got that culture that allows people to step into a new environment and feel at home and be comfortable. And yeah, it honestly was one of the smoothest transitions. So for me, just keeping the players and being like, just be open-minded, like be excited by it, like be excited by change. And, Emma said it herself, we've all reflected and said that it came at the right time, and it was something that we actually needed. And I think we've really turned a page and gone to another level. And yeah, I think you've seen that from the season that we've had.
My gosh, such an undeniably successful season. Undefeated for all 22 league games. And Millie, I love what you said, that like change doesn't have to be a bad thing. The players should be excited and should embrace it. And I think one of the other big changes that, of course, as to a mostly American audience of our listeners, I want to ask is about Naomi Girma, our American center back who has joined Chelsea and joined you in the back line. As team captain, someone who has been on that back line for a really long time, what's it been like to welcome Naomi to the club and to get to play with her a little bit?
Yeah, she's been amazing. I think, everyone it's funny, in the women's game, we know everything. The players find out everything before everyone else, so we kind of already knew. But yeah, heard like such good things. I think Nay's one of those people where you can see from the way she carries herself that she's an unbelievable person, and a fantastic player. So to have her as part of Chelsea is incredible, and we're very, very lucky. We know that. And yeah, again, someone that's came and slotted right in, and it's like she's been here for seasons. She's really, really nice. I think we needed that personality in the changing room as well. And like I said, when you have change, it's good to get new personalities in, and she's so uplifting. But on the pitch, she brings something completely different to our team, which we've not had. So again, it's just another string to our bow, and she's really, really strengthened us. So yeah, we're really lucky to have her. And yeah, she's like I said, she's just a joy to be around and so easy to play with.
What's really standing out to me about what you're saying about these changes is that they've been seamless because the culture of the team is so strong that any changes or any newcomers kind of just have to adopt what the team culture is and fall into that. And I think that's such a great strength of Chelsea as a club, that you have that and you're able to kind of take these changes on the chin and just move with them. Obviously, going into every season, there's multiple trophies up for grabs. Chelsea was doing so well. We all were like, Chelsea could win all four, including the Champions League. I hate to even bring it up. I know the Champions League semifinal was so disappointing, the losses to Barcelona, but the team still had to come home and compete for two more trophies. You had the league on the table and the FA Cup is still on the table. How did you allow yourself to process the loss to Barcelona, but refocus and lead the team to finish the season strong?
The biggest thing was, again, Sonia lays out the expectation. We laid out, okay, we've not gone in that direction that we wanted to go in. The Champions League is done now. There's no time to dwell. But this is what we've still got an opportunity to win. And this is what we've still got an opportunity to succeed with. And not only get trophies, but break records, which is something that we want to be leading the way with. So I think highlighting that quite soon after We had obviously a day to ourselves. Everyone just deal with your emotions, do what you need to do. But when you come in on this day, it's done, it's gone. We were very clear about that, and to be honest, we didn't really allow much conversation about it. We kind of just nipped it in the bud, and it's over now. We've got massive games ahead of us, and to be honest, we just kept saying, yes, we're currently unbeaten in the season, but if we don't succeed in these next 2 weeks and achieve what we want to achieve, it's all for nothing. So we just kept reminding ourselves of that, and then it was just about. It was a really hard period actually, because the first training session back in after the Barcelona game, I felt really guilty for being upbeat, but I knew that the team needed us to be like jolly again. Let's get the energy, let's get the atmosphere back, and not feeling guilty for doing that, because we have such like a big task ahead of us. So I was just trying to just make sure the vibe was there, and to be honest, every single player like turned up for training, was like on it, and then we just really focused on what we still had an opportunity to. Any other team would love to be in our position and would snatch our hands off to be in the position to go on and potentially win the treble, go unbeaten in the season with 2 games to go and win the league. So we just reminded ourselves of, yes, we've not succeeded there, but we should be still very, very grateful for the position that we're in, because other teams, are going home with no trophies and we've got an opportunity to win 3. So kind of getting back into the players' heads. And to be honest, we were so disappointed in the way that we lost, that we knew we'd not given everything. So it was kind of like we wanted to prove to ourselves what we were capable of. So I think that kind of helped us in a way a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I know we have the FA Cup coming up this weekend. I'm going to get to that in a second. But to realize when you were going into that last game that you could go undefeated the entire WSL season, had you ever imagined that? Like, I don't think people necessarily go into a season saying, let's go undefeated, but you're Chelsea, and it seems like it could have always been on the table. How did it feel to actually do it?
Funnily enough, I had an interview with Liam from BBC before the season when we do the media days, and I remember him saying, write in your notes, what do you want to achieve this season? And undefeated was one of my things. The quadruple was the other, which obviously we didn't do, but we still have an opportunity for the treble, which I'll take. But being undefeated was like one of the things that I've really wanted to do, and that is like, for me, that'll be like a standout moment in my career looking back, is going undefeated, winning the season with 2 games to go. I think that's incredible. And me and Rach did our podcast yesterday, and just on reflection, 19 games won, only 3 draws. Like that in itself was like mad. I was like, holy crap, I didn't actually realise that it was like 19 wins, but I'm really, really proud of that. Like, I don't think people understand how difficult that actually is, and sometimes you get wrapped up in, we've won a trophy, and it's not until you sit back and you think, oh my God, like we actually went undefeated. Like that'll forever be like one of my favourite seasons, this.
It's really, really cool and rare and special. I'm really happy for you guys. So I know this weekend you'll be on the field one last time for this FA Cup opportunity to bring home the domestic treble. That would be the League Cup, and the FA Cup. Obviously, like, yes, you want to win 3 trophies. The accomplishment of winning the treble is like a bragging right. It's incredible. It's historic. What would doing it with this team this year with a new coach, what would it mean to you right now?
Oh, it'd be super special. Like I said, it would just be the icing on the cake for this season. And I think, do you know what the hardest thing is? From the outside, the stats look amazing. Like, it looks like we're having a brilliant time, but it's actually been one of the hardest seasons. Like, there's been so much going off behind the scenes and injuries, and, there's felt like a lot of struggle throughout the group. So I think from the outside it always looks like sparkly and everything's nice and rosy and sunshines, but for many reasons it's actually been one of the hardest seasons. So I think to then pull through all of that, and you kind of want to do it for the ones that miss out as well with the big injuries. So I think when I always see teammates going through tough times, that I want to win for them, and because no matter how many minutes you play, you represent Chelsea, you're a winner. If we win the league, it doesn't matter how many minutes you play, you've won the league and you've got that against your name. So, I think for many reasons this would be unbelievable. And everyone knows that the FA Cup in England is one of the best trophies that you can lift. And at Wembley, the most iconic stadium, it is. There's so much history tied to this competition and that cup that, Wembley is such a special day. And, to top it off with that would be the dream. And this would... Country Mile be my favourite season, 100%.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned kind of when you see your teammates going through a hard time, like the whole team kind of wants to fight for that because everybody on the roster gets to win,
Yeah.
even if they contributed a lot or a little. After the FA Cup, you will have another big trophy to play for with the Lionesses, with the Euros. In 2022, it won the whole thing for England. And the second that it happened, it was so iconic. And I feel like everybody knew that this was a huge shift in the narrative for women's football in England. What's your lasting memory from the Euros in 2022? And what emotion do you associate with the day you won?
But exhaustion. Apart from blowing out my backside and being exhausted and just thinking the last 5 minutes, keep the ball up the pitch, do not let them attack. It was the longest 5 minutes of my life, but just honestly, it's still a bit of a blur because I think we were in such like a tight bubble, and we've always spoke about that, is nothing got in our bubble and nothing got out. And we were like, we made sure like if we want to do this, we have to keep everything so tight. But I think just after, it was just like we were in such, obviously Wembley was absolutely packed and it was like the atmosphere was electric, but it almost felt like quiet. It was like such a
Yeah.
bizarre moment. Like I remember I went over to Leah and obviously we were really emotional, and it was just like ultimate relief. Like we've actually done it, and we knew that it meant more than just like winning a European trophy. It meant like changing the country. It meant changing mindsets. It meant opportunities for the next generation. It meant women's football being more visible and taken seriously, and it just changed everything. So I think that's why it was so overwhelming. But yeah, it was bizarre because I knew Wembley was like electric and everyone was going mental. Yet it was so quiet in my head, and like I could only hear my teammates. Like it was a real like surreal moment.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's really, really cool to hear about. I think the relief part is the part that resonates with me the most. That like it's this overwhelming like wave of like, oh my God, it's over, and like we did it,
Yeah,
and we actually did it. I feel like your England team going into the Euros this year, because as you mentioned, you changed the country, you changed how people perceive women in football. And you're obviously defending champions, that there's a pressure to perform to that level again and to make that kind of impact again. And I think there's like an interesting parallel between your experience feeling that pressure for England and the way you've been feeling that pressure for Chelsea throughout your whole career and continuing to perform and up the level for Chelsea. And this is my last question for you, Millie, but how do you use all this training that you have performing for Chelsea under pressure when you go and compete for England in a moment as big as this Euros that's coming up?
as always, to enjoy every single minute. I think when you're playing in a happy place, you're the best player. And I think if you can get all your teammates in that place of enjoyment and thriving and being brave and expressive, I think that's when you all perform at your best levels. And then collectively, you can be one of the best teams and achieve anything. Yes, there obviously comes with ups and downs, but that's where I think it's up to us as players and teammates to get each other through those tricky bits. You know, there's going to be nerves, and we've spoken about it a lot. Is we are a New England team. We are, you know, we've got new personnel in the squad. We look a lot different actually from the last tournament. So we are on a new journey and we're in a new kind of era, if you like. And yeah, we've changed a lot. So we do speak about being a New England team, and we have to approach this tournament as that New England team, which is really exciting as well. You know, different personalities, different characters, different styles of players in the team, and with that becomes this new period for England to go on and hopefully do amazing things. But like I said, for me, it's just about you leave everything out there, you enjoy your football, and you remind yourself that you're playing in a major tournament, which a million players would love to be playing in. And like I said, you never know what's around the corner in life. So yeah, I always say that to people, just enjoy the moments because you never know when it's your last.
Well, England are in such good hands with you leading them. Chelsea are in such good hands with you leading them. Good luck at the Euros. Good luck this
Thank you
weekend in the FA
so
Cup
much.
final. I'm cheering for you, and this was so fun to chat. Thank you so much for doing
Thank
this.
you. No, it was my pleasure, and I'll hopefully see you soon.
I know. I hope to see you when I'm in London. Thank you,
Yes.
Millie.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Millie and I squeezed so much good stuff into a short interview, and I was so grateful she took the time to chat during such a busy week for Chelsea. I can't wait to watch them on Sunday, and also to watch Millie this summer with England at the Euros. The women's game is busy planning our Euros coverage, and I can't wait to experience that tournament with all of you. I'm in the UK visiting my sister and new nephew, and we have some more very exciting interviews coming up for you next week. Just a quick reminder, after the FA Cup final this weekend, we've got CONCACAF Champions Cup and the Champions League final next week. It's a huge week for club football, and we have a ton of content to share with you all. So please make sure you're subscribed, and that way you won't miss anything. Thank you all so much for being here. We'll see you soon.